Hi everyone, welcome back to another astrology breakdown. If you are new to my channel, my name is Laura, aka Baby Curl Tarot. I am a tarot reader, astrology enthusiast, and root worker. And this series breaks down all the major astrological transits throughout the week and what you can do to use these energies to your advantage in your daily life. This week we have mostly good stuff happening. There is one aspect that might make us a little crazy, but the next couple of weeks just continue to get quieter and quieter, which helps us ease into what I'm calling mellow March. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. By the way, I just want to say if you hear any loud noises going on in the background, we are in the middle of a storm here in California. So there is a lot of wind, a lot of rain happening over the next couple of days. No, it does not seem like California can get a break. First it's fires, now it's a massive storm. Do we need the rain? Yes, but that is a whole other topic. I can just go down a rabbit hole. It can be destructive at the same time, is what I meant to say. But I digress. So if you hear crazy loud noises, that's what that is. We're going to go ahead and start off with Tuesday, February 18th, and the sun moves into Pisces. So it is officially Pisces season. Happy early birthday to all my Pisces friends out there. So what does the sun in Pisces mean for us, those of us that maybe don't have a whole lot of Pisces placements or don't have any Pisces placements? What does that mean? When the sun is in Pisces, that tends to make us a little bit more sensitive, introspective, in tune with our emotions, empathetic, selfless, kind, um, just more thoughtful of other people. We just kind of tend to go with the flow a little bit more. Pisces is a water sign, so it's very, when you think about the element of water, it's just likes to make its own path and takes the path of least resistance. Pisces being a mutable sign, it's very much in like, oh, well, we can just start to kind of close things out and move on and get ready for brand new things. So we have a little bit more of an openness to letting go of things and endings and closure and stuff like that. We just have a little bit more of like a relaxed approach to things. We're less likely to hold on to things tightly, if that makes sense. This can also, on the flip side, make us a little bit less grounded in reality, and more prone to getting lost in daydreams and fantasies and escapism in general. So, for those of you that like to partake in the substances, be very careful because you are more likely to indulge during Pisces season, which obviously can affect your health. And then there's also things like just generally getting caught up in the things we love and doing it to an extreme. So if you like sitting on the couch and watching movies, you might feel a little bit more inclined to do so, especially if it's raining outside. And you're less inclined to get up and do your workout routine or, start on that project that you're supposed to be doing. It just makes us less motivated to do the things we know we have to do and more inclined to indulge in the things we like doing. I hope that makes sense. Now, I will say that this is generally a good time for spiritual practices and creative or artistic projects or activities. It's a really good thing to kind of keep our minds active or keep us, grounded. And kind of feel like we're doing something to grow ourselves personally. So some personal growth there. And how you can take advantage of Pisces season is to really reflect, heal, and just go with the flow. Also, really depending on what your rising sign is, the sun in Pisces is going to be highlighting a certain area of your life for the next month. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at all those. So if you don't know your rising sign, there are tons of free websites and other resources online where you can just put in your information and get your rising sign. What you're going to need to find out your rising sign is obviously the day you were born, the exact time you were born, and the city that you were born in. So once you input all that information to a astrology website, it'll populate basically your birth chart and tell you what your rising or your ascendant sign is. So that is going to be really important because that is going to tell you exactly what area of life the sun in Pisces is going to be hitting for you. And I'm going to get into that right now. All right. And if you see me looking down, I am just looking at my notes. This is a lot of information. So I just want to make sure that I'm staying on track and giving you the most accurate information possible. So we're going to start with the Aries risings. The sun in Pisces is going to be hitting your 12th house of psychology, mental health, self-sabotage, closure and endings, spirituality, healing, death, and afterlife, karma, and solitude. So some of you guys may feel a lot more introspective. You may even feel more distant towards people. You just want to spend time by yourself a little bit more. Focus on your mental health. Focus on, maybe closing out some old limiting patterns and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Taurus risings, this is hitting your 11th house of friend groups, networking groups, collaboration, charitable and humanitarian work, social awareness, technology, and future dreams. So you may get really creative when it comes to technology or collaborating within different groups, charitable organizations, and things like that, or doing things with social justice or social organizations in general. So you may feel more creative or inclined to, participate in those types of activities within group settings versus maybe like more of your own personal projects. Or you just may feel more inclined to spend time with your friends than at home doing your chores. Does that make sense? Gemini risings, the sun in Pisces is hitting your 10th house of your career, reputation, public image, authority figures, bosses, father figures, men or masculine energies in general, and long-term goals. So you may be like healing any issues related to your career, to your reputation, your public image in some way. You may be going more with the flow of things here and not necessarily have such a rigid structure to how you go about your long-term goals or goals within your career. You may also have a little bit more of an easier time connecting with people in roles of authority, like your boss or men in your life or masculine energies in your life in general. So yeah, this could be a really interesting time in terms of like connecting on an emotional level with certain people, but also finding a more emotional connection to your work, your career, and your long-term goals as well. All right. Cancer risings. This season is hitting your 9th house of higher education, philosophy, long distance travel, cross cultural relations, and law and religion. So, this could really help kind of expand any interests related in different cultures or a desire to travel. This may also kind of open up and expand your idea when it comes to philosophies or different philosophies that you're more open to learning about, different types of religions, or just in general kind of help you expand your mind when it comes to higher education. So if you are in school, university, or college, it's a really good time to like kind of expand on like really abstract ideas. Pisces is one of those signs where it's less about the logic or practical application of ideas, but more about the broad potential of things. Okay. It's more of like the what ifs, the idealist kind of side of things. So you may have a better ability to grasp those more abstract ideas within your education or within a different culture, religion, or sense of order to another, walk of life from yourself. Very cool. So I feel like this is going to be able to allow you to put yourself in other people's shoes a little bit better, if that helps kind of bring that all together. Leo risings, the sun in Pisces is going to be hitting your 8th house of sex and intimacy. And when I say sex and intimacy, I also feel like sex can translate to the 5th house. But the difference for me between sex in the 8th house and the 5th house is 8th house is more about what happens after marriage. Okay. When you've combined your finances, you've moved in, you're sharing a house, that kind of thing. Whereas the 5th house is more of like fun and dating and getting to know people. So it's a little bit more casual. 8th house is a little bit more committed. So that kind of sex and intimacy is what I'm talking about here. And then you also have this house covers shared finances and resources, like I said, inheritances, debt, taxes, real estate, collaborative goals, and deep transformation and the occult. So there could be a really big interest in things that are considered like taboo, like the occult, magic, or I don't know, different types of um, mystical types of topics that maybe other people were maybe shy away from, or just, different types of experimentation in the bedroom, or finding different ways to connect with your partner if you have a romantic partner. This is also potentially a time where you are a little bit more how do I put that? You're a little bit more open to learning about different types of maybe debt relief programs, or things related to like investing, because the eighth house also talks about investing. So you may be really curious about um, not necessarily like newer types of investing, but you're just a little bit more open to experimenting, if that makes sense, with things that maybe you wouldn't normally try. Um, so I would just say be very careful, because Pisces can be a little delulu. All right. So when it comes to money and playing around with things like that, investments, I would say be very careful around this time about investing in something that maybe you don't have all of the facts and information on, because that can possibly bite you in the butt. So just keep that in mind. All right, Leos. All right, Virgo risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your seventh house of one on one relationships. This could be anything from marriages, romantic partners, best friends, business partners. This also covers contracts and topics of equality and sharing. Um, so, I mean, this could be a very romantic energy. Let's be real. Pisces is one of those very emotionally deep signs. So, this is a really good time to like emotionally connect with very special relationships in your life. Even if it's a business partner, I just feel like maybe connecting with them on a more personal level can deepen that relationship in order to help you guys work better together as a team. Okay, so I do feel that for you guys. Contracts, I would be very, very careful about signing contracts. I said this to the Leo risings as well. Pisces can be a little delulu, can be a little out of touch with reality. So if you are going to be signing contracts around this time, make sure you are double and triple checking all the fine print, all of the terminology, to make sure that you are not getting yourself into a situation that you are going to regret later on. Okay, so just be very cognizant of like staying grounded and really taking your time to make sure everything, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Does that make sense? All right, Virgos, best of luck. All right, Libra risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your sixth house of physical health, analytical skills, pets, work routines, daily habits, organization, and acts of service. So, when it comes to things like how you show up for people, acts of service, right? This also rules like coworkers and your work routines, right? So, showing up for other people is not going to be a difficult thing. It's going to be a very empathetic and selfless kind of energy for the next month or so in that area. What I am a little worried about is your physical health. Okay, so like I said earlier, Pisces is one of those signs where they like to indulge in the escapism. So, like I said, if you are someone who partakes in substances, be very careful around this time. This could really do some damage to your health if you're not careful and you're not paying attention. And even if you aren't someone who maybe drinks or smokes or whatever, maybe you like to eat certain foods, okay? Sugary foods, or things that are just generally not good in abundance, okay, for your body. Everything in moderation. Just try and remember that, okay, Libras? Everything in moderation. Okay. Um yeah, and then also not working out could definitely be a thing for you guys around this time. You may just feel a lot more lethargic. You just want to lay on the couch, you want to be cozy, you want to curl up with a good book, or you want to watch a movie. You don't want to go outside and go to the gym right now. I feel that. Not in this rain. So again, just motivating yourselves is going to be a little bit more difficult, especially because Mars is in Cancer still. It is retrograde for part of the week. So it's just going to be a little bit more difficult to get yourselves motivated for the next month or so. Just letting you know ahead of time and making you aware. Okay. All right, Scorpio risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your fifth house of fun, entertainment, creativity, drama, self expression, dating, sex, children, and pregnancy. So, Pisces, being a water sign, is very intuitive and wants to connect on an emotional level. So, if you are dating and you're not really tied down to anybody right now, you could be finding yourself in like really deep emotional conversations with people that you're dating. So, you may find that people are opening up to you a little bit more, or you're opening up more to other people. Just be really careful with this because I told a couple other rising signs Pisces can be a little delulu. So just don't get wrapped up in like, is this really a deep connection? It may not end up being what you think it is. There can also be like some confusion or just, mixed signals happening around this time. So just be very, very careful to not get kind of lost in the sauce of dating right now. Also, wrap it up. Wrap it up. What else? This is also a really good time in terms of creativity and artistic expression for you guys. So if you are artists, if you are creatives in any format, great time for creating different types of content or projects or activities. It's gonna be a really, really fun time and a really productive time if you really stay on top of like scheduling yourself or structuring your time to make it work for you. Okay, Pisces does kind of get a little lost in the sauce. They get a little bit um lost in the idealism of what they're doing and not so much putting it into physical, tangible work. So just remember that. Stay grounded and actually put that idea onto paper. All right, what else? Sagittarius risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your fourth house of home, family, self care, emotional foundations, women, mother figures, and femininity in general. This is a great time for self care. This is a great time to light up those candles and take a bath. This is a great time to just give yourself space to do nothing. Sometimes self care can look like literally doing nothing, or cleaning your house, or just reminding yourself that you've done a lot this week, today, whatever. Telling yourself that you are doing amazing. Okay. Even if you don't feel like you are, telling yourself that you are doing amazing and that you are enough is a form of self care. Okay. Just be careful that you don't lean too much into too much self care. Okay. Because that can be a thing in Pisces season. Okay. Pisces is one of those signs that kind of likes to overindulge in being cozy and comfortable. Don't forget to stay motivated and put in the work too. Okay. It's good to do self care, but if we do too much, sometimes it can bite us in the butt as well. Everything in moderation. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Home and family life may feel really harmonious around this time. You may be connecting deeply with family members, having really deep heart to heart conversations and things like that. So, this can be a really beautiful time to spend with family in general for you guys. And if you are a woman or you identify as a woman, spending time with other like feminine energies could be really uplifting for you. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. All right, Capricorn risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your third house of thinking, communication, siblings, socializing, and your immediate community. So, like, think your neighbors, your next door neighbors, and your neighborhood in general. This is a really great time to kind of connect with people in your immediate, like, community. Join a community watch program or, like, go to that party your neighbor invited to that you weren't really sure about. You may find that you actually have a lot of fun and make some new connections there as well. In general, like socializing is just, it feels very easy. It feels very charming. It feels very like you're able to connect with people on an emotional level very quickly. So that is really fun. make some really deep bonds within your close community, which is very cool. Sometimes that's needed. So especially if you've just moved somewhere new, great way to get in touch and meet new people in your community. Just sign up for something, even if it's at like the local rec center. Like go look at classes or events that they're happening there. Might be a really good thing for you guys to check out. Now, when it comes to thinking and communication, Pisces can be a little less about logic and more about like, oh, the what ifs, like the big abstract, wild ideas. Like everything is very much fantasy, like what could be, what could happen, or like imagine if the sky was actually yellow instead of blue. Like what would that feel like? Kind of a thing. It's very much like taking a hit of acid. I've never personally done acid, but that's kind of what I imagine. Or mushrooms. Like it's just very like, oh, expanding your mind kind of a thing. So it could feel a little less logical in terms of like conversations you're having, but it could be very fun to explore like different perspectives or different ideologies or different, points of view for sure. Um, Communication, don't be surprised if you get a little frustrated. Maybe you are misunderstanding other people or other people are misunderstanding you. It's just one of those things where Pisces, again, isn't just the most straight to the point type of communication style. So if you feel like you're missing things or you feel like someone is just not quite understanding what you're getting, just it is kind of what it is. Just try to be very to the point as much as you can. Obviously have fun and make those emotional connections where you can. But if it's like somewhere at work where you really need like precise communication, try to be as concise and to the point. See, I'm already rambling. I already said that point, I think, twice. So you can already see I'm already starting to feel it. But yeah, and then siblings, you may have a stronger connection or have more deep emotional heart-to-heart conversations with your siblings as well. So there you go. Aquarius risings, the sun in Pisces is hitting your second house of money, income, values, ethics, material possessions, and your personal habits. This is a really interesting one. In terms of like material possessions, money, income, like this could be very much tied to the emotional connections you have with things, right? So material possessions, like you may decide like I don't really feel emotionally connected to this one particular item anymore. It doesn't speak to the values I hold anymore, and you may feel like clearing out things in your house because you're like, I don't feel emotionally connected to this anymore. It doesn't touch me in a way that it used to. You may find your values kind of shifting based off of emotions or things that trigger certain emotions. So I would say just be very careful about that. It might feel a little bit impulsive because everything is so emotionally driven with Pisces. So again, just be very careful about that, especially when it comes to making decisions. Now, I will say trust your intuition because Pisces is a very intuitive sign. So when it comes to, say, work decisions, like, do I want to take on this new project? I would say go with your intuition on that. Now, if the reasons why may be a little hard to really put into words, but if you just feel that it's not right for you, I would say go with that. There are going to be times where maybe your intuition feels a little off. Okay, so I do want to warn you about that as well. Especially when it comes to like handling money can be very tricky. I would say definitely do your research when it comes to like moving your money around. I know this isn't the eighth house, but investing things or putting money into things can be very tricky, especially if you don't have all the information in front of you. Get the facts, get the details, and make sure you double check everything. Okay. Finally, Pisces risings. The sun in Pisces is hitting your first house of your physical appearance, your first impression, attitude, identity, and approach to life. You guys are the stars of the show, it feels like. So there's going to be a lot of focus on you, just as an individual, basically your brand. Like, what is your brand? People are really going to see you kind of shining as this charismatic, very empathetic and kind, selfless person, which can be very beautiful. However, what can happen here is people may misunderstand you as well. So you may feel like, oh, people aren't really getting who I am, or they're not getting parts of my personality or attitude. And that is going to be something you're going to have to deal with. Unfortunately, Pisces energy is very, can be a little delulu. So sometimes people may not completely understand, who you are or what you stand for. It may feel very vague or broad, to them. And again, can just be like, it depends on the day. Obviously, we have different transits throughout the month, but there could be certain things where you have little misunderstandings with people, or they just kind of get the wrong idea about you, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind. But this feels like a very go with the flow, very easy, natural kind of way or time for you to kind of just like put yourself out there. I feel like for the most part, you're going to be received very well. So the sun will be in Pisces until about March 19th, and the zodiac placements feeling this the most will be Pisces, Virgo, Cancer, Scorpio, Gemini, and Sagittarius. All right, so the next transit we have is taking place on Thursday, February 20th, and we have a square between Mercury in Pisces and Jupiter in Gemini. This energy is the one I was talking about. It's a little confusing. It's a little delusional, right? So we have Mercury, which is the planet of thinking, communication. It wants to be logical. And then we have Gemini, which is where Jupiter is right now. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So it likes logic. It likes being straight to the point. It likes the facts and the information. Pisces, which is where Mercury is right now, is very like, oh, let's go with the flow. Let's talk about the stars, and let's talk about, I don't know, like just very like dreamy, like not so very serious things, or like let's take the long way around, right? In conversation. And Jupiter is one of those planets where it wants to see the big picture. And then Gemini and Mercury are so focused on the smaller details. So you have this like confusing, conflicting energy of like, oh, let's just kind of go with the flow and talk about the big potential like idea, the big picture. And then the other energies are like, what do you mean? No, I want you to answer where that email is, like not how you got lost in outer space. Like, does that make sense? So, this energy in general just has a tendency to make us feel a little overstimulated and overwhelmed mentally. And then also overestimate our capabilities and what we're able to do. There's a part of us that wants to take on all of the projects and all the things, but the reality is like we're already overwhelmed and overstimulated with our workload already. So just be realistic with yourself and others around this time and what you're able to take on right now, and say no if you need to. Like, that is completely okay. Like I said, there's a lot of tendency to be overstimulated mentally, get confused, and there's also a lot of potential for miscommunication and misinformation. Okay. So, again, like I said, to some of you rising signs, Pisces can be a little delulu and not really like paying attention to the facts, right? So, always double check the facts and the details. When you are talking to people, try not to over exaggerate things, because that can lead to miscommunication, or maybe you're not really giving them this exact facts. Like I said, don't exaggerate. Keep things as not middle of the road, but very factual. We don't want to make things seem like they're bigger than they are, right? Okay, so take breaks when learning new things. Slow down, take your time when making important decisions as well. Okay, this is a lot. This energy can definitely make us kind of like self-deceive ourselves. Maybe we're not understanding something clearly, or we're hearing something in a way that makes it seem like something else. So, and then of course you also have people kind of exaggerating things themselves. So it may not always be what it seems. So just really check in with your gut intuition, and not only your intuition, but again, double check the facts. Is what this person is saying true? Or is there something they're leaving out or they're making seem like a bigger deal than what it actually is? Okay. Now, what I will say is that this energy is great for creative and artistic projects. So get inspired and pour your ideas and put them onto paper though, but don't leave them in here. Put them on paper. Because it's one thing to be inspired and be creative and feel the vibes. It's another thing to actually put it on paper. So make sure you do that. All right. And we are going to be feeling this energy between February 16th and the 24th. And the placements feeling this the most are going to be Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. All right, so we don't have a whole lot really happening this week. After Thursday, we go to Sunday for our next big transit, and that is Mars stationing direct in Cancer. Finally. Okay, so Mars was retrograde starting on December 7th. So we've been in this retrograde for months. I'm so ready to be done. I don't know about you. So what is a Mars retrograde? For those of you that really don't know what this energy kind of how it affects us. When Mars is retrograde, it makes us slow down. It makes us a little bit more unmotivated. It makes us feel stuck and frustrated because things are delayed, things aren't moving forward the way that we want them to. Okay, but this is also time to reassess our goals and strategies in certain areas of our lives. Now, Mars was in Leo in December and then retrograded back into or regressed into Cancer. See, I can't think. I don't know what words are right now. It regressed into Cancer. So wherever Leo and Cancer are in your charts, those are the areas you've maybe felt really stuck in, or like things weren't really moving forward, or you've had to take a minute to reassess, like, what am I really doing here? Do I really want to be doing this? Do I need to approach this in a different way? So that is finally ending. Thank goodness. You're going to start seeing things moving forward a lot faster, or you're going to be able to reach goals a lot faster. You're not going to feel as stuck or like there are delays happening in those areas of life, which is really great. However, there will be a shadow period. Every retrograde has a shadow period where we still somewhat feel the effects of this retrograde. And that shadow period for Mars will be going until about May 3rd. So we're still going to have like instances where maybe there's delays or frustrating moments, or we're not really hitting the goals that we want, whatever the case is. So between now and then, I would just say stay flexible and patient. We will get out of this soon, I promise. Okay. And finally, on the 23rd as well, we have a trine between Mercury in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. And I love this. It's two water signs teaming up to make things happen in a really like chill way, and I really like it. Okay, so what does this energy mean for us? What does it feel like? This is really hitting our communication and decision making skills, talents, abilities. It's going to feel a lot more in, oh my god, I can't talk. We're going to feel like communication, thinking, and decision making comes a little bit more intuitively. We're also a lot more expressive, empathetic, sensitive, which can be, kind of on the negative side. Maybe we're taking things a little bit too personally, but, it's two water signs. What are you going to do? I'm a Scorpio. I'm also a water sign. Like, sometimes we take shit personally. It is what it is. But decisions and communication is definitely more emotionally driven and at the forefront of conversations. And then there is also some assertion because Mars is now direct, it's not retrograde anymore. So we are going to be a little bit more assertive here when it comes to taking action or taking the lead in communications. But it's water signs, so it's not like a fire sign where they're very bold and direct and like super assertive, borderline aggressive. It's very diplomatic, it's firm. It is going to be firm, but it's going to be very diplomatic, and it's going to be cognizant of the emotions of the other individual, if that makes sense. And then how do we use this energy? This is a good time to have heart-to-heart conversations, especially if you've had issues with specific relationships in the past. It's a great time to work on creative and artistic projects and get things kind of moving, or, progress a project you've already been working on in some way. Spiritual practices, great time to get into spiritual practices. Manifestation, okay, Jupiter is now direct as well, so manifest, light a candle, do something. And this is also a really good time to trust your gut or your intuition when it comes to making decisions. Like I mentioned in the last section, Pisces can be a little delulu, but it is very intuitive. So this is one of those instances where we can trust our gut instincts, we can trust our intuition to make decisions, and we're not being affected by other energies that are going to confuse us a whole lot. Now, we do still kind of have that energy between Mercury and Jupiter, so things may feel a little foggy, but this energy is kind of helping clear some of that up and allowing us to kind of see through some of the bullshit and be like, that doesn't feel right. I'm going to double check. And that's where you go and get the facts. That's where you go and get the facts. All right. So, this energy we're going to be feeling between February 19th and February 27th. And the placements that are going to be feeling this and benefiting from this the most are Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. So, all the water signs and all the earth signs. All right, so we will be feeling some of these transits into next week and some of them into next month, but I really don't feel these energies are super disruptive, maybe a little frustrating here and there, but just make sure you aren't getting too lost in the sauce and double check your facts always. Next week is a little trickier. We have Venus stationing retrograde in Aries, which will have us rethinking a lot of things. And we also have the new moon in Pisces, which is a great time to start thinking about how we can connect to our goals on a more spiritual level. Until then, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave a like or share if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to leave a comment if you have already been feeling some of these energies. Until then, stay safe and blessed. Bye.